You know, I miss movies where there isn't really necessarily much of a plot, where there's just characters who sit down, talk to each other, they conversate, and that's it. I finally watched that movie called Blue Moon. Richard Linklater. I think people know. If you are a fan of the Before trilogy, I think this movie is for you. If you're a fan of where two characters converse through deep philosophical romantic topics, I think you're gonna like this one. It's not that romantic, but there's a lot of deep, wonderful, silly dialogue, and it's all there. Because this too is directed by Richard Linklater. There's times watching this movie that had me thinking, I'm not even watching a movie. I'm sat at the bar with these characters listening to Ethan Hawke. I'm getting a peek into actual insane, wild, wonderful conversations that I'd love to be a part of. It's more of a hangout movie. You're kind of just sat, you're relaxing, and you're watching other people talk. Some may find it boring, it may not be for you. It's in that one location classic Linklater style. It made me feel all the emotions. I was laughing a lot. But there's times that it genuinely made me feel quite sad. It made me feel that empathy for the main character. Loren's heart. How does he see himself? This was all answered in the entire movie. There are themes of being forgotten, replaced, not good enough for other people, the self-confidence, but most importantly, Linklater is a master of platonic intimacy. That is exactly what this movie was. It's what Midnight in Paris would be if it was just in one room. If Owen Wilson was going back in time and he was just sat in one bar, sat next to Ernest Hemingway, Scott Fitzgerald, Dali, Picasso, all these artists in their own way, that is exactly what it would be. And that's not necessarily a bad thing at all. I love when movies solely focus on that. If you're aware of Richard Linklater's filmography, you won't be surprised. But it gave me that same wonderful delight feeling that Midnight in Paris gave me, where I'm actually learning so much about these larger-than-life characters, well, real-life characters. Linklater is a master of dialogue. I could have watched another hour of them just talking. It was so delightful. It delves into the dynamics of artists working together and how much trouble that could be for themselves. The partnerships, the examining the ego and the power, the loyalty, the complex emotions that they go through, it's all explored through dialogue. When one partner is feeling overshadowed, the story highlights the bittersweet feeling of watching another person, another era take over yours. You feel replaced and you don't really know what to do with yourself. You have that feeling of existential crisis. And what happens when an artist's time has finally passed? The thing I love most of all about Blue Moon is the pursuit of connection. Connecting to the characters. That is exactly what this film is all about. It reflects on humans. We need to be seen and loved by other people, by our own loved ones. That's what we cherish. It's exploring how our insecurities and addiction push away the people that we love the most. And that is so tragic. It's so heartbreaking. I have to give every praise in the world to Ethan Hawke. That was probably his best performance. He completely disappeared into the role of this miserable, self-loathing, insecure, but very humane person. It was beautiful. I love so many pairings in cinema, but Ethan Hawke and Linklater is always going to be something special. And that's what this film is.